Hi everyone, and welcome to another Tribe Forex Power Hour. Here is Marcello Nino with Nino, a Pro FX trader. Today is April 7th, 2014. Now we're going to do today what we've done for years, which is an analysis of the markets and evaluation of our strategies, which are based upon the 5 p.m. Eastern Time close of our daily bars. So first we're going to talk about how it works. Then we're going to go into our daily market analysis. If there are any trades that we currently have open or that we would consider getting into, we're going to talk about those trades. So let's talk about how it works. So basically our formula for success is basically doing a 5 p.m. market analysis at the end of every trading day. That's when we determine our bias. Now what is our bias? That is the probability of price either going up or going down. So if we have a probability that price is going to go up, we have a buy bias. That means on that particular currency pair, we're going to be looking for buy opportunities, and vice versa. Okay, now how do we execute the biases? Once we determine what direction from a probability standpoint that price may go in, we either take a set and forget it trade. That means I can set it right now. And when price goes to that mark, it's either going to get in or we can get in at price at market. We set our stop losses and our take profits, and we don't look at it again until the next day. That's a set and forget it trade. We also can day trade in the direction of our bias using our pods, points of decision, for bigger profits. Okay, now if you want to know more about, number one, what a pod is and what bias is, go to the website www.tribeforex.com. And we have a free training course, training course on the website that you can go to. Also about day trading, every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 to 3 a.m. Eastern Time, and then again at 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We have a master Forex trader here, Nino, who will be taking trades with you and really walking you through the process. And that comes with your Tribe Forex membership. So take advantage of it while it's available. All right, so 1 to 3 a.m. Eastern Time tonight, for instance, Nino will be there, and then again in the New York session at 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Nino, how are you doing?
I'm great, Marcello. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. We've got a lot to talk about and really nothing to talk about all at the same time, guys, today. You know what I mean, Nino. There's some good opportunities, though. So we're going to talk about those good opportunities that we have coming up. Once again, guys, if you want to ask any questions, just go to the trade room that Nino will host. Once you go on tribeforex.com, you will see the information there for the go-to meeting that he will be doing, or the go-to webinar that he does every Tuesdays and Thursdays, 1 to 3 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Okay? And with that, let's take a look at our charts. You'll have to forgive me, guys. I'm actually using an IBFX system, which does not close at 5 p.m. but closes at 8 p.m. apparently. And that's just not going to do. FXDD, it just isn't working these days. The MT4 platforms are not as reliable as they used to be, and they're not giving us the accounts that we need to be able to run the testing that we need to. So we're doing a lot of upper time frame analysis of the markets now. And starting with that, actually I think you'll get a lot of value out of this. Looking at this euro dollar, for instance, I'm going to get rid of this. Great. All right, so looking at the euro dollar, here I am on the weekly chart, on the monthly, the monthly chart. And you can see I've got 1, 2 touches, and actually we've just had a third touch. Price has just tried to break through that area, formed a nice reversal candle. Let me make that bigger for you so that you can see it. It's a doji reversal candle right on the 800. Now, if price is to stay within this flag formation that we have here, it's going to require for price to drop quite a bit. Now, we both know that the euro dollar is a little bit high for where it has been historically speaking, and so we're going to be looking for potentially a bounce off of this 38.18 trend line, but really there are some good opportunities right where you are. So if you look, 37.50 is a very good entry point. I'm going to go down to the weekly first. Okay. We have a narrow channel here, okay, that's formed on the weekly, and so this is 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, which for us would be 16 days, actually 16 to 20 days, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22 days actually. So not counting these middle opportunities here. All right, these don't count because these are actually Sunday, and that's one of the things I don't prefer about IBFX. So these don't even count. Okay, we've got 22, so it's really 16 to 18 days here on these 3 weeks. What I'm trying to say here essentially is that we have a nice channel set here. Okay, we have a nice channel set, and basically price is most likely, if it does do anything, it can get up to about 3780, 1.3780 here on this daily chart here on this in this channel, and we can see price go up there or really stick around here at the 137.56 area. Now there's also something else going on. We also have a nice opportunity on the Fibonacci's. You can see as I set my fibs, you can see that 137.70 is also a very good area. Here there's an intersection of price here on the next day, which does occur at about 137.80. If I go down to the 4-hour, you will see that there's an intersection of the Bollinger Bands and the 200 EMA on the 4-hour that occurs at 137.70. Okay, and that's right below that, 10 pips below that that trend line that we're looking at. Okay, and that Fibonacci's that we're looking at as well. All right, so if we go down to the 1-hour, we see the very same thing. We're seeing a lot of price action that can be available here on the 800, which is the the 200 on the 4-hour at 137.70. So there's a lot going on there. I say about 137.70, between 137.50 to 137.70 is really going to be a place where we're going to look for price to really retract here. And there's a tremendous amount of opportunity for you if you look at it, really looking at it from the weekly. You can see it quite clearly here if price does drop. Now there's a strong probability that price will drop from here. There are no guarantees of anything. But certainly there's a strong probability. So we do have a sell bias, if you will, a long-term sell bias, giving us a potential of up to 700 pips in profit on this euro dollar. So look for your entry. It's probably one of those trades that I'm going to be looking to hold on to. Now, there are a lot of people that believe the euro is going to drop, and I do think that there's a probability of the euro dropping from here. Not a ton of great news coming out of the euro, not a ton of opportunity on the euro. As far as a value proposition. So from that standpoint, I think from a fundamental standpoint, we can look for a sell in the euro, and just from, I think technicals will drive it, and I think that we can look for price to drop here on the euro dollar. All right, so the dollar CAD. Dollar CAD's been interesting, an interesting play. I actually looked for price to go up here on the dollar CAD, and we actually did take a trade. We ended up losing about a little bit over 1% here on the dollar CAD as price did drop here. And we're sitting here, and price did retest that 1.100 area and did not come above it. Actually tested it and then closed low. What does that say to us? Well, right now it says that we're in consolidation. That's fine. But really, inevitably, I think it's saying that price wants to continue downward. And that's what we have to watch for. As you can see here, I've drawn the trend lines, and this trend line intersected perfectly with the 1.100 area. And so we could see price really continue to descend here as far as the dollar CAD is concerned, because it has retested this 1.100 area and also the trend line that went with it, and it it really just closed below it. So just for the time being, from what we're looking at, there's probably a bias towards sell side here on the dollar CAD. If there is another retest of 1.100, that'd be my entry. 1.1000. Okay, pound dollar. All right, pound dollar, same thing, guys. You can see here we've got a pennant, we've got a consolidation, a contraction of price in the markets. We do believe that price is going to eventually drop on this pound dollar. I think there's a great opportunity here on this 50 EMA, which is at about 166. What was it? Yeah, 166.40. Right about 166.40. I think price can push up there and really look for a descent here on the pound dollar. Now, let me tell you why I think that. And although we're consolidating, yeah, we can think price can get back up to this trend line, but I do think eventually it's going to come down. Is that when I look at the monthly chart here, what I've got is, if you look at this lavender, this magenta actually, area of horizontal resistance here, it's at 167.50. You can see something. You can see that price has repeatedly tested it, repeatedly stopped here, even relatively, near past. Okay, so what we're going to be looking for is potentially a drop all the way down to this lower magenta area, which is our support area. Now this is the true support. So if we do see a fall here on the pound dollar, we're going to be looking for a drop down to 152 from where we are at 166, guys. So potential huge profits, 1,200 pips that you can really capture here on this pound dollar, and for that reason, that is a good place to look to. Now look, if you were to get into a long term, I don't want to call it a position trade, but certainly it would be more of a position trade to a swing trade. And I think it would more so of a swing trade. It's a 4-to-1 ratio. Okay, so basically it's about 250 pips to the top of this thing. Although I don't necessarily recommending that you take it, take your stop loss all the way to the top here. But if you're, an old timer, you just don't want to think about all that movement, you just want to live a stress-free life, you can do that. You can get in here really small, here about 250 pips away, and look for the drop down to about the 1,000 pip mark, where you can be looking to get out. Kind of hold on to that and look for the 800 EMA where it intersects, and then it's probably going to be about 1,000 pips down to 155, 50 in that area. Okay, so that is what I'm looking for on the pound dollar. I do think there's tremendous opportunity here, guys. As I look at the euro dollar now and also on the pound dollar, I see the very same opportunity here on the dollar Swiss. Really, the dollar Swiss has dropped, come down to its 50 EMA, which also intersects with the 38.2. Look for a bounce off of 88.67 in that vicinity on the dollar Swiss. Now, what am I looking for inevitably on the dollar Swiss? If we really look at the monthly and we're getting back to where we have been, you can see there is a big reversal candle that occurred right from the low here at 0.7071, and you can see where we're at in that. We've had a real consolidation and a pullback. We're sitting right on the 38.2. There's a good chance that price is going to continue to move up. This is pretty much the all-time low here, going back to 1993 of the dollar Swiss. So where does it want to go? It most likely wants to go back to the upside. Wants to get back to some place of relevance as far as price is concerned with all of this other price action. Okay, and so that's what I'm looking for on the dollar Swiss as well, I think inevitably. And I think that what we have been looking at is consolidation on the dollar Swiss, and that's why I'm looking at the long-term plays. I'm looking at the long-term plays so we don't forget where we are in the market. So we've come down here, and this is where we're at. We're at the 38.2. Look for some price action and some bounce off of the 38.2 and that 50, which is at 0.8867. They both intersect right there. So that's a great place to look for some support. Okay, and that will be your play. We talked about the dollar CAD. Okay. The New Zealand dollar. New Zealand dollar is close to highs as well. Okay, it's just kind of sitting up there, and for that reason, I'm not going to give any calls here on the New Zealand. Not right now until I see some future price action. I want to see some more movement. I want to see something that's steady and really shows me where the New Zealand dollar really wants to go. As you can see here, we had a railroad tracks formation, which actually was an engulfing candle, which continued down quite a bit. Then we had another somewhat railroady kind of structure here on the New Zealand dollar, and we have almost the same kind of thing going on here, but less powerful because it did not close the length or at the low of the previous candle. So here's what we're looking for. We may see a retest at 86.86 here on the New Zealand dollar, and then potentially a drop. That would be, in a perfect world, that's what it would look like, because that's what's happened previously at these levels. Of course, we don't know what's going to happen, not quite yet, but it would look a little something like this. Okay. Yeah, that pretty much is what it would look like. Or something like this. So we're at these highs again, and we could very well see a drop here. So all the pennants are basically showing us the very same thing. We've got pennants in all of these areas on all these different currency pairs: euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, New Zealand dollar now. Let's take a look at the Aussie dollar. Not so much on the Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar is kind of a wild card for me, if you will. Looking at a lot of price action here on the Aussie dollar. That is just it's really a wild ride, if you ask me, which is why I'm kind of staying out of it. Looking at this Aussie dollar, actually, it looks like it wants to potentially go up. Now, look, it's sitting on the 50 MA on the monthly. I'm sorry, on the Bollinger Midband. Okay, right above it is a 50 MA. We could see price continue to move up here on this Aussie dollar, but we're going to need to see what happens here and where price takes us from here. Looking at the monthly, though, this is what it looks like. It really does. It looks like it wants to continue to move up, really get back up to 1.0266, which means a significant strengthening of the Aussie and weakening of the U.S. dollar. I don't know if it's going to get there. We'll see what happens. We'll just have to keep posted as far as that's concerned. I'm really not going to call anything on this Aussie dollar today until I see future movement that's going to confirm in one direction or the other. We do have kind of a W pattern here, the bottom here on this Aussie dollar, which does bode well for a push up. And so, you know, we have to wait and see what happens. I really don't know. I have no idea where this Aussie dollar is going. Okay, so I'm not going to call that at all. Euro yen, guys. All right, we said we had basically price set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches on the euro yen. Beautiful opportunity there. It's bouncing right off the top of this 50 EMA. I still think it's got some down space to go here on the euro yen. So I'm going to be looking for sell activity here on the euro yen for down to 140.50. Okay. Same thing on the pound yen as well. We may have some up movement here, but I think it's got to get back down here to complete 169.63 or 169.80 in that vicinity. Okay. And the dollar yen. Now the dollar yen's a nice pair to look at because it's very clean. 1, 2, 3, 4 touches coming down. It's going to come down to this 50 EMA at the very least at 102.64. So we definitely have a strong sell on here on the dollar yen, and we're going to look for price to get all the way down to 102.00. So that's what I'm looking for on the dollar yen. So I've got a sell on the dollar yen. So here's what I've got, at the end of the day, I think I've got a strong sell on the euro dollar. I think inevitably on the pound dollar. I think it's got to push up to 166.50 before it comes down or in that vicinity. Dollar Swiss, that's a very good place. Look at 88.68, 66 in that area for you to look for a buy off of the dollar Swiss. Okay, and that's a good strong signal for a buy off of that area. Dollar CAD, I think we have a sell bias just based off how it's reacted at trend lines, so at resistance areas. New Zealand dollar, I think inevitably is going to be a sell. Okay, but we've got to wait for some more price action to confirm. Aussie dollar is a wash. I'm not going to call it at all, although looking at this chart, it really looks like it wants to move up. So keep that in the back of your mind. That's where I'm keeping it, just in case something comes up and really confirms it. Euro yen, I think it's a sell. It needs to get back down to 140.64. Pound yen, also a sell. It's got to get down here to 169.50, 169.60. And dollar yen, definitely a sell here. That's my stronger signal here of the yen pairs. Yen, I really do feel it's got to come down. It's got nothing to hold it up here. It just wants to come down to 102.64 and potentially down to 102.00, 102.15 in that area. So guys, that is pretty much my analysis for the day. I hope it helps you in your analysis and in your own trading. Get in there in the room 1 to 3 a.m. Eastern Time for the London session with Nino, and then back again at 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time for the New York session with Nino as well. I will talk to you guys in another session of the Tribe Forex Power Hour. All the best. Bye-bye.